Anyway, thank you for letting me present in front of you. My name is Jack Sitch. I'm with JSA Productions, LLC, which is a video, film, and broadcast production company. I've been doing this for a long time. Some of you, Colleen, I've known since I was in kindergarten, I think. But I've been doing this. I started in radio many years ago. It's a company that's kind of grown outside the box that I normally would be in if I tell you I do video and film production. What I found over time was that there was a need for people to understand what I do in this industry around here, so I started actually a secondary business called Black Hills Institute of Broadcast and Cinematic Arts. That helps people learn how to do production, and that helps people learn how to be in front of a camera and not be afraid. We have a lot of theater actors here. We have very few camera actors, and that's a whole different thing. So as I was doing commercials, I knew there was a need for this, so I developed that part of what I do, to help people stand in front of a camera, and that's really led to a lot of growth on my entrepreneurial journey. The other thing that I did is as time went on, you learn. I think many of us probably will say this, no matter what business you're in, you learn how to be a life coach because people need your help. And the help they need isn't always what you do. The help they need sometimes is just they need help. And you help them, you talk to them, you start giving them a purpose and a passion. And every one of us sitting here, we're here because we have a passion for the business we're in. So let's talk about my very loud voice, my entrepreneurial journey. This business has been truly a blessing for me to be a part of. And there's a reason for that. First of all, I like to teach. I like to get people to grow from that seedling when you first start to that majestic tree. The tree of your choice. I don't care if it's an evergreen. I don't care if it's an oak tree. It doesn't matter. I don't care how big it is you want the tree to grow. My job as a marketer, producer, and coach is to help you build that to the kind of tree you want to have. So you decide the tree, I will help you get there, and I will help you meet the people that you need to know to get there. That's what I do. So it's more than just turning on a camera, putting a microphone on, and making a presentation. It's more than the graphics you see behind me. There's a whole lot that goes into this. It's an industry that is growing and changing all the time. And I believe it's a blessing for me to be a part of this, and I believe the journey I've been on as an entrepreneur has been a blessing. And one of the things you got to keep in mind is as you go through an entrepreneurial journey, many of you are younger than me. It isn't hard to be. But you'll find there's a lot of disappointments, a lot of defeats in your life as you're trying to do your own business. You'll find there's days that it just, the technical term is, I think, sucks as you go through this. But sometimes you got to ask yourself, is that a blessing in disguise? And as we go through my journey, you'll see why I say that. I start today on this journey letting you know that this person with confidence and stuff standing up here talking to you is not what you think. I started off with a very severe speech impediment in my life, to the point that I took special classes for many years. To the point the first day I went to school, they contacted my mom and said, "Does he speak a foreign language?" She said no. So imagine me, the teacher, with a kid who couldn't speak well enough for you to understand. That was the beginning of my journey because I knew I had to change that person. So even at the age of 5, I started this journey of wanting to change and seeing the blessings that come along with that. My goal in life was to learn how to speak in front of people, to speak to people like you and have you understand me. I still have a speech impediment. I still struggle with that every day. But it doesn't defeat me, and that's a part of your journey to keep in mind. Your struggle is not a defeat unless you let your struggle become a defeat. Or it can be a blessing. You can work harder, you can grow, you can become better at what you do. My success is here right now. This is success. I don't know how you define success. This is success to me. Success is talking to you and you understanding the words coming from my mouth. Now imagine that person going on the radio. That's what I did as a young man, growing up in the 60s, I gotta tell you this part. Because this really mattered to me. John Kennedy had been president, was killed. Johnson became president. Then there was Robert Kennedy, who was running for president, 1968. Wonderful man. He had a quote. It's not his, but he's the one I remember this from. And so I use it all the time. Some men see things as they are and ask why. I dream of things and never were, and I ask why not. And that's a powerful message for you as an entrepreneur. You can fit yourself in a box, but then don't stay there. Look beyond that edge. Look how you can do things. Ask the question, why not? Science showed this years ago. As a teacher, I learned this. Science proved the best answer to the question, why? Why not? The very best answer to the question why is why not? For me, it started here with Robert Kennedy. Then, of course, he was killed. But I kept that message. Because all my life, I looked at things that were, and I said, why this way? Why not dream of things and become those things? So we did that. So this forever shiny, traversive person went on to go into radio. That's where I met Colleen, long time ago, working in college. I was shy. When I walked in a room, even those who saw me the first time I walked in the room here, I sat by myself. I will still do that. I am not forward and talking to people all the time. This is my game face. I put this on for you because I'm still that shy, introverted, speech impediment kid sitting in the room that everybody teased. I'm laughing now. I went into radio, had the #1 morning show in 2 different markets. I had arrived. At the age of the early 20s, I had arrived. My dream had come true. I was so confident, I even went into television in front of the camera with this face. So imagine that. I must have been okay if I got this face in front of a camera. From there, an opportunity arose, a blessing arose in my journey. I got to start teaching my passion. My passion has been radio and TV production. I love this stuff. And my dad one day called me and said, Jack, they're looking for someone to teach us in the Rapid City area schools. I thought he was crazy, but they were. And I went to teach at Stevens High School. For 9 years, I taught radio and TV production. I got to see kids do what I loved. I got to teach them how to do this, and they had a passion for it. So my passion for radio and TV became a purpose in my life. Teaching it was a part of that purpose. Presenting to people like you was a part of that purpose. That spurred me on the entrepreneurial journey right there. All those years were fun, and then something happened in the politics of teaching. Vocational education started going out the door. They didn't want people to learn job skills. They wanted them to go to college. Now, college is a great thing. As a teacher, I went to college. But there's a lot of jobs that don't need college education. But vocation was going out the door, so what did I do? I did what every smart man would do. I started my own company. That was a journey. I was probably 20 years too early starting that company, monetarily, because now it's a lot cheaper to do. And I was way too early business-wise. I had no clue what I was doing. I had no understanding of business, didn't know how to set one up, didn't know how to run it, but the bank said, that's okay, Jack, we've got money. We will support you. So $135,000 for a computer system to edit on, $35,000 for a camera, $20,000 for all this other peripheral stuff we needed. All that was given to me because they had money. They didn't care if I knew what I was doing, and guess what? I failed miserably. But that was a blessing for me. That company, I had an Avid Media Composer Express, $135,000 computer that was the baby to the one you really needed to know. But that was a blessing. So that business that failed miserably, I lost that business. That business led me to my next career choice. I went back into television, but this time behind the scenes, because there was a TV station in town looking for someone to run an Avid because that was a new and upcoming thing. And so my defeat was a blessing. I went to KVN, Black Hills Fox. I became their lead Avid editor, trained other people to do what I did, and the marketing director, which I got to train or got to learn from other people how to do marketing better than I already knew. Broadcast is marketing. We help you market your business. That's what we do. But I got to learn better because we were working with Fox, which at the time was a fairly new broadcast network. They were number 4 in the industry. And the professionals I got to work with out of Los Angeles were some of the best in the business. We went from number 4 to battling for number 1 in the Nielsen ratings while I was there. I loved that. I learned so much. And while I was there, I served on the board of directors of Black Hills Area Chapter of the American Red Cross. And so right around 2005, another opportunity came along in this entrepreneurial journey of mine, which was a blessing in its own way. The American Red Cross here in Rapid City asked me to come be their executive director. So I did. Now remember this story, the kid that didn't know anything about business, failed miserably. Now I'm working with the Black Hills Area Chapter, American Red Cross, covering the western half of South Dakota and the Nebraska Panhandle. And I'm learning PL statements and cash flow and all those things about business that you need to know to succeed in business. So my business partner took me from that defeat to a blessing, something I never thought I'd do. I mean, if you look at my journey, did you ever think I'd be the Red Cross executive director? I didn't. Someone did, but I didn't. Did that for about 2 years, and politics and Katrina came along, and let me tell you what. When you work nonprofit and you're part of the Red Cross, and it's a big event, the politics can kill you. I left. I moved on. Went back into what I do best. I went into radio, morning show. It's what I know. That's my baby job. So I went back into radio, did that. While I was working there, I got contacted by an ad agency in town that said, Jack, we remember working with you at KVN. Would you like to come work for us? So I joined Jargn Associates. So another defeat became a blessing to me because they wanted me to come in and do basically computer editing or nonlinear editing and do marketing for them. And they were growing at the time. They were on the move. We were working for people like North Dakota Department of Transportation, National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, NHTSA, a lot of people that know the acronyms. South Dakota Lottery. We had won all these big contracts. It was great. And I was learning from more marketing people. I was doing what I loved. I was storytelling at RSA. And I loved it, but I was yearning to get back to doing my own thing because that failure wasn't going to defeat me. I wasn't going to stay there. I wanted another blessing in my life. So I left there and started my own business. This time I renamed it the JSA Productions, LLC. This is when I added in the Black Hills Institute of Broadcast and Cinematic Arts. I was teaching people how to work the job I did. I was teaching people how to act in front of a camera. I was producing movies. I was producing TV shows. I was producing videos with the Native Health Services. We were doing some incredible things, both here in the Black Hills and around the area. I was freelancing, going all sorts of places. This was a fun thing for me to do. I enjoyed this journey, guys. This was a great journey. I learned a lot. I wasn't failing as a businessman this time. I was still struggling, but I wasn't failing. But God had other plans for me. See, I'm an insulin-dependent diabetic. And during this time period, I found something that was going on in my life that insurance costs and insulin costs were going up. And they weren't slowing down. And so I knew the only way I would survive is to go back in the corporate world. So a year after they offered me a job, I called them up and said, via media, is that job opportunity still available with you to be a regional production director? I said, yes. So I went. Again, another blessing for me. Now I had insurance. Now I could breathe a little bit, and I got to work in South Dakota, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Missouri, Nebraska, Kansas City. Those are the markets I covered. I worked with people in all those markets, and there was 5 other markets I helped with. I was meeting people, I was learning still. We were doing some incredible things in the marketing part of it and production part of it. We transitioned from just video production into digital and video production because digital is growing so quickly now. So we started doing a lot of things from the banner ads to the Facebook ads to all those types of things as we were there. And so I got more experience, more blessings than that. And then just when I thought things were going really good, I'm 60 years old, I can retire from this job. In November of last year, we found out we lost our biggest contract that we had. 90% of the monies paid to me came from that contract. So at the end of the year, guess who was without a job? There's 5 of us from the offices that lost jobs. I was one of them. So, January 2nd, 2019, up comes JSA Productions, LLC again. Thankfully, I never really let it go. It was still there for me, so my entrepreneurial journey was still continuing at that point. The beauty of it this time, though, is those people I worked with at Via Media, they still call me to this day, having me do their work. Now I'm doing it as a freelancer, no longer being paid for them. The bad thing is I do my own insulin, my own insurance. But those connections have helped me on this journey. So I know this is a long presentation, but 61 years of life, you can't really condense that far. But I want to tell you something. JSA Productions is Jack, Sitch, and Associates. And a lot of people look at me and say, who's the associates? From my heart to yours, they are God, Jesus Christ, and the Holy Spirit. They have been with me every step of the way. They have blessed me every time a defeat was at my doorstep. They blessed me with something else. They took me on the next part of that journey. They helped me build something. It's like the rings on a tree. Gordon and I were talking yesterday, and he brought that analogy up. I was like, it is. All these journeys, all these steps, it's like the rings on a tree, and God was blessing me each step of the way and put me in a position. Every time a check comes in from my friends at Via Media, for the production I'm doing for them, even though I don't work for them anymore, you know whose signature I see on that check? I see God's. He's taking care of me. He's helping me on this journey, and I appreciate that. So now, as I stand before you, this isn't the end of the story, since this business started again full-time in 2019. It's just the beginning, and I'm looking forward to the next 20 years of doing this. And I'm not looking at it and saying, why? I'm dreaming still of those things that we haven't done yet, and I'm thinking to myself, why not? Let's do this. Thank you, guys.
My name's Angela at Marketing. Does this work? Hi. Hello? Hi. Hey, Marianne. Where was your first radio job? Like, what station were you on? What year was that?
My first radio job, I was in high school, actually, and I actually worked at K-Tech at School of Mines. But I graduated from Black Hills State because that's a much better school. And then from there, I worked in Belfouche at KPFS while I was working at the college radio station in Spearfish. I was one of those fortunate ones that worked 2 jobs to put myself through college. And I didn't have time to be nervous about being on the radio because I was working in the morning. I signed on one station, I went to classes, I went and signed the other station off. And some nights, I forgot what town I was in. And so I may stay in downtown Belfouche when I was in Spearfish, or downtown Spearfish when I was in Belfouche. But that was the beginning of the journey. Then I've worked basically within the 5-state region: Minnesota, North Dakota, South Dakota, Wyoming, Montana. Oh, by the way, and that was back in the 60s, or 70s, sorry. You were asking about when.
Nsight, so maybe Shield Financial. I just wanted to ask about the first failure when you were in your 20s and you got all that money from the bank. Tell us a little bit more about that. How, like, maybe try to get some specific details on what was the main reason that it didn't succeed, or what were the main hiccups that kind of brought it down, just so we can learn from it.
You bet. Thank you, Saeed. Reality was, knowledge was the worst problem there. So I went in and did some jobs for people without contracts. And one of the beauties of doing jobs for people without contracts, if it's a lot of money, sometimes they decide they don't want to pay you. And when they don't want to pay you and you don't have a contract, there's really not a lot you can do about that. You can go and complain and show people all the paperwork and stuff, but without a signed contract, there's no agreement for the pay that you say you're supposed to get. That was a major issue. The bank, on the other hand, was very nice about it because they said, Jack, don't worry about it, we'll give you more money. And I thought, I'm already in over my head. So I decided, actually, at that time, I went through bankruptcy and said, you know, I'm done. I'm not going to go any further in debt. I've got to learn how to do a business if I'm going to run a business. And I was too shy to go to places and learn like I wanted to, because that intro.
Oh, I was getting mic'd up, so I'm taking over for Melanie, but you still have a green light there.
I have a red light, but I've got nothing.
Oh.
Check 1, 2. Yeah, it says battery's out. I'll just give you the bottom part.
There we go.
Cute.
Hope he's well versed in audio.
Yeah, right.
Actually, check 1, there it is. Okay. Actually, audio is, believe it or not, I do video production and film production, but you know what the #1 job on a set is? Audio. If you have bad audio, people won't watch. If you have bad video but great audio, people will watch. Tell that to a cameraman. It doesn't go over well. But I love the industry. Theater of the mind. Colleen, remember this from back in the day. We always talked about radio being theater of the mind. What's better for a storyteller, guys? Let me do one example real fast why someone thinks of a question you want to ask me. If I said to you that was the best looking person to ever walk in the room, I would have 25 to 30 different answers of what they look like. But if I showed you a picture of somebody that I thought was the best looking person I ever saw, some of you may go, yeah, no. Some may go, yeah, I like that. So theater of the mind is incredible. Anybody in here ever watch television by not watching it, but you have it on and you listen to it? Yeah, I thought so. That's the audio guy, so the beginning of my profession, I still love the audio portion. Any other questions? Okay.
Maybe.
Aaron Lewis with AJ Phillips Real Estate Solutions. I'm only. Yes. Is that better? I can't hear myself.
There it is.
Aaron Lewis with AJ Phillips Real Estate Solutions. I'm only 36, and I see the technology even from when I was a kid was drastic. So I can imagine. So how do you deal being a business owner and with changing technology, social media, things like that? How much time do you spend? What are some of your ways that you incorporate that kind of changing stuff into the business that you're having?
Very good question, Aaron. Thank you. It's a very good question. The changes are monumental. Part of it's going to be you're going to have to buy equipment. You're going to have to invest in equipment. When those kind of changes come, if that's a piece of equipment you need, you have to figure out what jobs do I have to work to pay for this piece of equipment. Just because a piece of equipment is available does not mean you buy it. You buy it only when you know there's a job that will pay for it, or multiple jobs. So if I want to get a brand new camera that's $40,000, which I wouldn't do, by the way, but because there's really low cost ones that are very, very good. But if I wanted a $40,000 camera, now I'm going to have to find the business that brings in $40,000 to pay for a camera worth $40,000. On the other hand, the changes in the marketing, the social media, all those types of things, guys, that's a big part of what you have to face as a business person, as an entrepreneur right now. And as a marketing person, I will tell you a couple things here. First of all, you've got to be on top of it. You have to be. You cannot be left behind. That being said, you cannot do this on your own. You don't have the time to market yourself the way you need to. You don't have the knowledge to do it. That's not your job. There's a few of us in here that know marketing. I've spent 46 years learning it. And I will tell you, I'm still not at a master's level in marketing because it changes. I mean, I still remember 8-tracks for those of us that are older. So, but it changes. You got to trust professionals, because you know what professionals do? That's their job. They know the changes. They understand the changes. They can help you spend your money wisely. I've worked in broadcasting for a long time. I will tell you, when someone walks in the door from a broadcast or cable outlet or newspaper or billboard company or any of those other places, and they try to sell you something, if they're telling you what they have for you to buy versus asking you, how can I help you, you're talking to the wrong person. A salesperson is trying to sell you a product so they make money. A true professional who wants to market you for you to win wants to know if they can help you. And they'll ask questions. And they may say, wow, Saeed, all the things you got, I can't help you. My marketing won't help you. But here's a person you could talk to that could. Now that's the person I want to talk to. Because they're worried about my business. And if you're a businessman or woman and you're trying to do this all on your own, what's the famous saying about a lawyer who represents himself as a fool for a client? A business person that's not in marketing, that markets themselves, I'm sorry guys, and the blunt, honest truth from the guy that's failed, you'll have a fool for a client. Now, I remember one person towards the end of their presentation said, the thing I learned to do is hire experts to help me do what I gotta do. That's your job as an entrepreneur. It's not thinking you know, don't be that 20 and 30-year-old kid who thought the bank was, they were wonderful, they gave me money, I must be good at what I'm doing. Yeah, boy did I blow that one out of the water. Don't be that person. Reach out for help from the experts. You want someone to know social media marketing? Talk to somebody who knows social media marketing. You want someone who knows how to put commercials together, banner ads together, billboards together? Talk to someone who knows how to do that. I talk to Gordon all the time, and I will tell him, there's things that when we talked about, and there's some marketing, I said, that's not what I do, but I can hook you up with the right person. Because I'm more interested in his success as an entrepreneur than me getting that dollar. Because his success will lead for me to get dollars. And as an entrepreneur, that's what it's all about. It's not making the sale right now. It's how am I going to make it in the long run. And a part of that integrity you learn as a business person when you're doing that is paid off for me, because all those people I took care of in Kansas City and Columbia, Missouri, and Madison, Wisconsin, and Minneapolis, Minnesota, and Omaha, Nebraska, they still contact me for work because they know one thing for sure: I will take care of them. Even if it's an emergency. Jack, can you help me? Hey, I work for myself. I can put in 24 hours if you want. Boss won't complain about overtime. He's kind of a butthead that way. He likes me to work long hours. So I'll do that. I'll help them still to this day. So, integrity, hiring an expert, that'll help your journey. From the guy that lost a lot of things. Yes, ma'am.
I apologize because I do have to run out of time.
Oh, you're fine.
My name is Catherine Sosa, citing high school journey. How do you investigate or how do you explore your market to know with your services what would be appropriate? I understand and I do believe in that customer service and finding out what they need first, but it is a business. So how do you decide what is a fair market value for what you're presenting?
And that clock is 5 minutes fast.
Oh, I
So
love that. Yeah.
I'll tell you what, as you're leaving, I'll give you a card. You get hold of me, we'll talk.
Okay. Okay.
That way you don't have, because that's 5 minutes fast, so you got 10 minutes. Well, we got time. Well, one of the things you got to do in this kind of business is you have to know your market. First of all, you got to know your market, and then your market audience or your target demo, as I would call it in my business. So first of all, you know kids need help. And now, what is it exactly you're doing? Are you finding them education? What are you doing?
It's academic planning and basically starting from their own personal perspective to get the most out of high school and then have a better sense of who they are, what they'd like to be after high school. So for example, college is not for everyone. It might be a tech business and so on, so that they can start thinking about this before they become a senior.
More like Germany does when they do things, because by the time you're in high school, they've already decided your path. They know where you're supposed to be. I understand, that's a very good point. Okay, so you know, first of all, that there's a need for that in this market. I mean, you came out of the education system, you already know that. So who do you talk to get in there? Now, the person making the decision is going to be a parent, more than likely. So even though you're doing this for high school kids, you got to think of parents who have high school kids. Who makes the decision most of the time in the family about that kind of situation? Normally it's mom. Yes, mom makes it. So if you're marketing, you don't even think about dad. Unless it's, because there are situations, yes, there's only a dad in the house. Or I guess sometimes two dads, but that's a whole other story. So I wouldn't worry about dad though. For the most part, you're worried about mom. She makes those decisions. When I did radio, I told people, if you want to get the male audience, get the female audience. There's not a boy in the world that won't listen to what his girlfriend listens to when he gets in the car. So don't worry about the guy. Worry about the girl. And same thing here. Worry about mom. Now, what age is mom going to be? Now you start to narrow it down. Probably 35 to 50, right in that range. Maybe 30 to 45. I don't know those demographics enough to be real specific there, but that's what you're doing. You're starting to narrow down your target. And so then when you go to do your marketing, you have to think to yourself, okay, how do I reach that person? Now, a billboard company will say, ooh, we got this great billboard for you. Let's put it here. Ask yourself, how many of those moms are going to drive past that billboard? So how much money do you have that's going to that that's getting you one person in? Or a direct mailer. They give you neighborhoods. We're going to these neighborhoods. How many of those are that mom? Or the radio station, the classic rock radio station, and there's 17 versions of it now. How do you know it's the right one? So these questions are hard. If you really don't want to be bothered by it, you hire an ad agency or a marketing consultant. They'll help you figure this out. Because you don't have the time. I don't know how many businessmen in here that do marketing, but how many of you have 7 radio stations, 3 TV stations, 4 cable companies, 7 billboards, 5 magazines, a newspaper, and all these other things coming to your door every week with the new greatest plan for you to market yourself? If they were so good, how come they have to keep selling? People should be streaming to them buying. And they walk in their door, oh, I can get you 500 commercials on TV for $1 a piece. Yes, they're going to run in all the shows that my mom doesn't watch. And at a time that she's already in bed. So did I just spend money wisely or not? Narrow it down. Find it. Ask those questions. You know better than I do who your target audience is, but I'll help you get there. If you need my help, or there's other people here who do marketing, they will help you get there. How many marketing people are there here? How many did I just insult? But I mean, in reality, that's what it's all about, guys. Hire the expert, have them help you with your business, and your business will succeed if you're better than I am. The big ask for me is let's all support one another's success and never stop dreaming and never stop asking why not. Because, guys, whether I make it today or tomorrow, that's important to me. If you make it today or tomorrow, that's important to you. And I want your success as much as I want my own success. So ask that question. That's my big ask. Ask yourself, why not? And then how can I fill that need? I know someone in transition. Great question. People that help the businesses, people from the government offices. Help them ask why not. And if you can do that, I will be successful.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Let's give it up one more time for Jack.